Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Marvel Rivals Ignite Open Qualifier. They've done it again, folks. The Marvel Rivals team have managed to wipe every replay off the face of the earth for every single thing in this qualifier. All of that publicly accessible stuff, gone. The bracket, gone. The open ignition stage, gone. The single elimination part, gone. All of it is no longer publicly accessible. There's a match history section in the Ignite section of the tournament page, but there's nothing there. They just wiped everything. And more than that, for the few minutes where the quarterfinals, aka the qualifying rounds for these tournaments, were up, they decided to play the matches in private custom rooms, meaning that we weren't able to see them. All we knew is who won. But, however, players are wonderful, wonderful people and are so kind. And they would like, their games to be seen. Qualifying for Ignite should be one of the biggest moments in their career. It's the big tournament. They should be talked about it. And I have had some very kind players come forward and send in their replays. Today, this replay has been sent in for we're jumping straight ahead to the quarterfinals because these are the replays we've been able to get. Thank you, players, for sending them in. I've got quite a few here. I'll be shouting them out as they come. I won't be saying who wins, but I will be saying who sent the replay. This is sent in by Leo, aka Leo, who is on BloodKariudo in the EMEA qualifiers. So we're going to be jumping into that game. So big shout out to them. I will be putting their Twitter in the description below so that you can go check them out and say thank you, and make sure you leave a comment saying thank you, Leo, thank you so much for giving us these replays so that we can cover them for you. This is going to be a single game because this is the replay I had access to. Single series, sorry, not single game, it's a best of 3. So let's head on. Sorry, let me double check actually. Is it best of 3? Yes, best of 3. Okay, I think it's best of 3 all the way through, so I had to double check there for a moment. Alright, so we have our first game. I'm so glad we got these replays sent in. It's so good. This is going to be an intense matchup. We also have one of the other top teams here. Also, I was requested to tell you all by Leo. Keep in mind that my team was created 1 hour before sign-ups closed. And they made it to the quarterfinals. So BloodKariudo coming in here. And they are versus big favourites, former OG players. Some of the most strong players in terms of the ranked leaderboard. It is brbrpatapim. Winner of this match qualifies for the Marvel Rivals Ignite for EMEA for Phase 1. The loser will have to try again in Phase 2, which at the time of me recording literally just started. So I'll definitely be keeping an eye on BloodKariudo when I head back over there. We're starting off on Krakoa for a domination match in our round number 1. And we have Captain America and Groot getting taken away, which has allowed immediately the Human Torch to make their way through the pick and ban phase into the game. You can see Hela already being hovered by Pokey, potentially going to be a bad out. There goes that Hulk. Taken away with the torch on the board. You want to potentially get rid of that the board, weaken that a bit, and of course the Iron Man, who Unibeam can do some pretty solid dueling. It's all about distance between the duel between Iron Man and the Human Torch. Iron Man wants to stay a little bit further away at like max Unibeam range to just whittle away at your opponent and take a maximum burst damage, whereas the Human Torch will want to get in close and use that shotgun essential blast to just try and burst them down. And some research has been done here. BloodKariudo will take out the Jeff. Tanuki is one of the players who will consistently run Jeff in that second duelist spot, third strategist spot for a little bit of burst healing and, of course, some really good flanking potential. It's a solid ban. This is, of course, pre the changes to Jeff. But they've done their research. BloodKariudo taking Jeff out off the board here and protecting the Emma Frost. Loki going to be picked up for brbrpatapim. Leaving 2 more bans, 1 each. Let's see. Psylocke going to be taken out, stuck very far through the ban phase. Still does, of course, leave Hela. Hela's, of course, a little bit of a better counter for the Human Torch than Psylocke is, and Psylocke's a bit more punishing for the backline, so we're going to see a little bit of a swap around that way. Prioritization on trying to keep their opponents at range here for brbrpatapim. BloodKariudo, they're going to ban away the Magneto.
Pick your hero or villain. I'm not judging.
With Emma Frost already on the board, with Magneto taken away, and mixes it up a little bit here. Just to point out, their Twitter is Leoiaz, spelt differently, and this one is Leolaz. I'm going to pronounce it wrong every time. I'm going to call their in-game name just for the sake of explanation and keeping everything clear. Doctor Strange has had a massive resurgence in popularity this season. Will be making their way onto the board. This is pre their buffs as well. So cool to see. Who's going to take the lead in this best of 3 season?
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
We have already been introduced to all of these players before, so we will forgo full introductions and just look at the composition. Zenny starting off with a BRB here for a little bit of pre-armor. Will likely be swapping over to the Invisible Woman. Wait, is the Invisible Woman bad? No, she was not. So Invisible Woman or Loki is likely going to be the choice. Zenny, of course, Invisible Woman is extremely good with the Human Torch. Loki, just incredibly powerful with Lunar Snow. Looks like Loki will be the choice, and Gainer going to be portaling in nice and early. Enzo doing the same. Both teams going to be portaling. One to the point, and both to the point, in fact. They're going to try and immediately take the duel. Crazy Kitty is destroyed by Pokey right off the bat, who is laser guided here, but will be forced to Astral Flock as the enemy team is starting to gain a little bit of ground. Down goes that regeneration domain, turning the focus onto the backline. Monkey is down, Gator is down, and that's going to be Zenny. It's going to be a full team wipe here by the looks of it, taking out the clones as well, as we see brbrpatapim taking control, and they will grab the first points of percentage. So to get the shots here in the cradle. Take control of that low ground is very difficult because, of course, the high ground is the main rotation point, which is why these stairs you'll often see players like Enzo playing further up to try and create a little bit of a zoning point. Crazy Kitty, you can see, is sieging in. Takes a little bit of damage. The dueling from Tanuki in the air. Tanuki, you doing some great cover from behind this hanging rock here. But that's going to be a pickup. Crazy Kitty takes the duel. Sending in the shots. Will be pulling back Enzo. Chasing them down, and Crazy Kitty, even though they won that duel, they are still a little bit outnumbered, forced to pull back, regroup with their team. Ken playing far back. Pokey was looking for pickups, but will retreat back to their team and just continue to look for those headshots, for those quick eliminations. Don't give them the chance to react. Leo making their way through the portal, takes a little bit of damage right off the bat, but they're already healed back up to full. Sending the shots onto Tanuki, once again, trying to take the duel here. Crazy Kitty playing on the other side, getting dropped low, Flaming Media to get out of danger. Tanuki, though, mostly untouched. Here comes the Supernova, immediately met with that Fate of Both Worlds, which means the team does need to kind of stay grouped up here, or they're going to be in serious trouble. There's a lot of damage. Yamamoto to stun him down, but Fate of Both Worlds is good. Flaming Media, though, is going to be enough. Quadruple, quintuple, and Crazy Kitty is out of there. With 91%, that is almost certainly going to be it. 30 seconds left before that before that portal. That will be point number 1. Going over to brbrpatapim. A dominant first round there. While we're seeing some solid situations in the 1v1s, it seems to be the coordination. They did say the team was made about an hour ago, as right now brbrpatapim, they've been playing together for months at this point. BloodKariudo, though, there were moments of brilliance where they might have an opportunity to make their way back in here. Polly on this end has been doing a great job with the zone. Let's look at the statistics here. Currently, only person to go down is Tanuki on the side of brbrpatapim. Report for feed. That pickup going over to Crazy Kitty. Top damage is, of course, going to be a Human Torch. In this case, it is Tanuki. Most final hits is a combo between Enzo and Pokey, both with 4. We're going right back in for the portal, starting us off early once again. Same for both sides, directly to the high ground above the point. Enzo bringing their team directly onto the point. Gator trying to create an angle, siege up for their team as Monkey in the diamond form is dueling out here. Goddess of Death immediately into the sky will take out Zeddy. Looking for the background, but they're going to get focused down, picked out of it. But Kath, Gator, both going down once again. Soul Cypher to lock them in. Pokey picks up yet another hit. Pokey is showing why Hella has been banned often in previous seasons. Even with how she is in her current state, is she still one of the best duelists in the game? One, not able to land the other two. Crazy Kitty trying to move erratically, but is still getting caught here. 2, 3. Flaming Media has to be used to get out of danger. It does give a bit of a shield for a little bit of sustain. Shots coming in. Psionic Seduction taking cover. Fate of both worlds. Polly trying to lock him down. Monkey in exchange. Zeddy is going to fade of both worlds with that Clonus. Tanuki is the first to fall. Pokey is dropped low. Ayavagamoto takes down Pokey and Enzo. And that is going to be brbrpatapim for the first time. Going to get forced off the point as BloodKariudo have claimed a point. 41% to 8 in favor of brbrpatapim, but BloodKariudo hold the point. For the first time here, they have to be the ones on the attack instead of an equal duel or a defense here. Tanuki sending in a couple shots here and there, but it's dropped a little bit low. Snowflake will heal them back up to full. As Luna focuses on keeping the rest of the team alive. Alex, one of the top strategists in the game right now, is really hyper-committed to try to keep the team topped up. Crazy Kitty with the supernova to get the match. It is Alex with the fate of both worlds. Kath to keep them equal. Ayavagamoto, Leo, and Zeddy. But Zeddy who's going to be the one to fall. Leo is retreating backwards here as they're getting zoned out completely. Tanuki is focusing hard onto them here, and they will be taken down with the Flaming Media as brbrpatapim will take the point back. Finishing off Monkey, Kath. Leaving just the Doctor Strange, Gator going down. They held the point, tried to hold the point for a couple extra seconds, knowing that they were going to be taken out quickly. They stagger, but they will be back with their team relatively quickly. Could be worse. And because they wanted extra time, there's more time for Portal to come back. 13 seconds now. Making their way up, Ken. Keeping the torch shield up. Loki firing squad spread across the point here. To siege in for a little bit of extra damage when needed. Pokey has Kraken impact. Leo about to have the same. Clone for Zeddy. A little bit early here. Ken holding on to theirs. When do they pull the trigger? As time's about to run out. There comes Ken. Kraken impact for Pokey. Take out Crazy Kitty right off the bat here. So that's going to be a psionic seduction for Polly. Leo trying to match, trying to focus down. Someone gets a Loki clone, meaning that they will get the reset as they are being healed up by the fate of both ones, but they get dropped down with that flame from the back down. Bionic hook locking them down, and this is BloodKariudo starting to get zoned off the point. Gator has yet to fall, meaning there's no portal. If they're left till last, it's a disaster here. Crazy Kitty not on the point. Leo not on the point. Crazy Kitty's going to have to Flaming Media if they want to try and hold this, but they can't get there. That's going to be round and game number 1. Round number 2, game number 1, going over to brbrpatapim. They did have the option to try and Flaming Meteor onto the points there to use that shield that the Human Torch gets for that little bit of extra protection, and that would have given time, potentially, for the Strange to Portal. The odds of it going off were next to nothing. So instead, they choose to just let it go, mentally reset, and prepare for game number 2. Top statistics, Tanuki takes MVP with 24 eliminations, 6 of which were final hits, being beaten out by Pokey with 10 final hits here. Least amount of times getting eliminated, going over to both strategists, Ken and Alex. Neither one went down once that game. Top damage is, of course, going to be the torches here. 13k for Crazy Kitty, 17 for Tanuki. doing huge damage numbers for their team. Just behind them, though, is Polly with 11k and Pokey with just under 10. Top damage blocked, as usual. You'd expect that to be on the team that did come second, as they do have to absorb a lot more damage to head on to the point. It's going to be 25k damage blocked for Gainer, who will top the tanking numbers here. They also, however, did get eliminated the most amount of times. You compare that, they're only 4k ahead of Enzo, who got taken down literally 7 times less. Polly managed to get 11k damage, only blocking 13k. So a lot of their damage was being focused onto the Doctor Strange, and a lot of the damage just seems to have been avoided. And top healing output is going to be the 21k from Zenny, just followed by the 19k of Kath. We fully come to expect that, where you will see the team that is, of course, in second a little bit further behind in terms of healing. It's very rare where you won't see that. It's nothing too unexpected here. All right, let's get ourselves set up for our replay number 2, which means I have to go and get it. Over here. And get that set up for you all. I hope you're all enjoying. I know I certainly am. As we're getting started, second map is going to be Spider Islands. Very cool. We don't see Spider Islands too often. Always a pleasure to see. And we are heading in, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2. brbrpatapim 1-0 up in this best of 3 series. They are now on the left. BloodKariudo. I keep saying Kariudo. It's Kariudo. Moved over to the right-hand side. And once again, starting off with that Captain America ban. This is also a target ban against the members of brbrpatapim. Pokey, I believe, is the one who plays that. It can be an absolute menace. Human Torch, once again, allowed through. Group taken away. So BloodKariudo, you once again find yourself against a Human Torch. They're going to just hyperlock in onto that Winter Soldier. He's a projectile hero, but the damage output's good and has a little bit of anti-fly potential with that Tainted Shock. Can try and bring down torches, but it is a little bit harder than for, say, someone like a Hela. And, of course, the easy auto-targeting of an Amor could also do a pretty good job. Iron Fist, also effective at, you know, basically being a flyer, chasing down people and punching them in the face. Gonna see the Loki taken away here. Not gonna be picked up this time. So is Wolverine. Interesting. Potential for an Emma Magneto combo. I want to get Wolverine out of there. Lunar Snow will be protected. You want that snowflake onto the Human Torch. Potentially an Invisible Woman as well. Guardian Barrier. Able to heal from a solid distance with those flyers while also keeping them protected. Something that most flyers don't have. Human Torch, one of the only flyers that has a shield in the form of that flaming meteor. It's going to be the Emma Frost protected. And another ban onto the Jeff. BloodKariudo. Going to be taking that away from Tanuki once again, especially with Lunar Snow getting protected. It's a threat that brbrpatapim have here. Incredible Hulk will be the last ban here. This, of course, nerfs the Namor.
The right heroes could make
But it
all the
allows potential for a Psylocke, as we're already seeing being hovered by Pokey. Looks like it was Polly, my apologies, who is the captain player. These team compositions looking pretty similar. Mirror match, meaning we are coming down to skill. Starting off with brbrpatapim on defense. They better close this out. They are moving off the Psylocke. They're going to start off with the Winter Soldier for Pokey. Whereas Leo going to be the one playing that Psylocke for the side of BloodKariudo.
Stay strong. I need you to promise me you'll show some restraint.
Enzo setting themselves up far ahead.
Not at all. But in most realities,
Very little changes so far from BloodKariudo, just sticking with what they immediately locked in. Seemingly pretty happy, and it's a solid, stable composition. Let's see how they're able to do. As out they come. Immediately a Pyro Prison being sent up by Tanuki. Doing so much damage, creating a lovely zone there. Not making it too big to the point where the zone just does not work and damage people in the center, which is a thing. Getting a little bit of self-healing with that overheal from that Invisible Woman team up with the Fantastic Force. Setting in some very good shots here. So far, Tanuki, mostly uncontested. There we go. Dropped low, forced to back up. Leo's trying to send in a couple shots of their own, forced to shuriken dash away. Doesn't want to get caught out as Polly is dropping extremely low here. Focus down, dropped to 35 HP there for just a second. The healing output is being focused hard. Psychic Spear, self-shielding with the Iron Bulwark, but Morgan taken down as is Enzo. Ken falls. Alex trying to keep the team topped up, but is focused down as well. Enzo immediately onto the Doctor Strange as they want every inch to matter on this map. It's all about getting back to the point as fast as possible, so these Strange rotations are very common. They've chosen not to go behind, point blank, front face. They're just going to make their way through and siege away. This way they can shoot from inside the spawn if they need to. Back out, back in, make their way forward. Holly very nearly caught out of position as they get pushed in. Supernovas from both sides. Media M from Monkey does not find the target, but that Supernova is doing huge work here. Invisible Boundary is buying a lot of time though from Zenny. Here comes the counter. Media M from Polly into the backline. Will find Zenny, but that still leaves Kath with that fate of both worlds for the counter. Whereas Alex and Ken have used both of theirs already. Pokey has Kraken Impact, but is already backing up and starts with the butterfly from Leo. Lays comes into the backline, doing huge damage output. Picks up two as they move on in. Pokey is in full retreat. Tanuki is trying to get away and will be able to do so by retreating up and over. But now they have to wait for their team and wait for that Fantastic Force to top them back up as BloodKariudo are making their way in. I see a Venom. Enzo. Going, ooh, good pushback. Couple extra centimeters, making its way in. 2 meters and 45 centimeters left to go. BloodKariudo as in comes brbrpatapim. Tanuki already getting dropped low. Kraken Impact for Pokey, finding no reset and just finding the diamond form of Gala, who locks them down and kicks them off that point and into the spawn again. Monkey trying to zone away, trusting their team to deal with Polly, who's forced back, dropped low. Point is making its way in. Venom has returned with a Feast from the Abyss to try and buy every extra second that they can, while the team makes their way back in for the reinforcements. But Supernova for Crazy Kitty, they're being healed up. They're creating a beautiful zoning area, and with Media Ram, they take out Alex to prevent that fate of both worlds from allowing it to sustain onto the point, forcing the retreat out of Pokey and getting the elimination. Enzo is frozen, roasted, and just turned into a venomous hot pocket, as that's going to be point number 1, picked up by BloodKariudo. And brbrpatapim forced onto the back foot this time. BloodKariudo looking to try and take us to a map number 3 at this rate, as they are pushing us in. Kath keeping the team topped up as best as they can. Good heals onto Zeri, Dance of the Butterfly coming in from Leo to try and wipe out any of the reinforcements. Will be dashing into the Invisible Boundary, pushed out of it by the Force Push though. And they're taking quite a bit of damage here. Map heal, heals them back to full. Tanuki with the Supernova is going to try and burst through with that Psionic Seduction. He's desperately trying to get onto the stretches. Tanuki not finding the targets though, as Zenny was able to get out of danger here. Tanuki's getting focused down, has the Fantastic Force for that little bit of extra over health, which will heal them back up to full. Doesn't Butterfly, this time from Pokey, finding Kath, Zenny, Leo, and Gator. That's going to be an insane wipe here. Retreat from Crazy Kitty. Monkey gets picked off, and Kitty will be forced to retreat. 1 minute and 56 seconds to go for BloodKariudo to push back in brbrpatapim. This is pretty solid. They're just over halfway through the map here. If they can hold it here, that is easily assailable for when they have to move on to attack. Alex keeps the team topped up. Doing a fantastic job here, has the fate of both worlds. Gala taken out again! Tanuki on absolute fire, pun intended, as they siege away at the retreating members. Flaming Media for a little bit of extra and a knockback as well. And once again, it's going to be a spawn reset for BloodKariudo. Forced to back up and wait to regroup together. Pyro Prison creating a zoning angle here. Enzo with the psionic seduction to punish them even more with 1 minute to go. Lock them down. Monkey and Leo will fall. Psychic Spear for big burst, and Crazy Kitty not looking so good, but takes out Pokey. Trying to take the duel versus Tanuki. Tanuki barely gets out of there and even picks up Leo. What a turnaround there. Very nicely done. Monkey holding the line. Tanuki continuing to siege from above. It's been doing so much good, but you can see that Guardian barrier up above. Crazy Kitty Supernova immediately matched by Tanuki Meteor M to absorb at least some of those hits. Monkey not finding anyone in the backline as Polly trying to match, looking for the strategist, absorbing as much damage as they can, but it's dodge sidestep. That's a toss of the butterfly from Leo to try and turn this fight round. Takes out Alex. Enzo, Ken, the strategists are gone, meaning no healing for Polly. The push continues with overtime as BloodKariudo are on their last legs, but they still keep moving. Zenny, invisible boundary at the ready, same as Ken. Pokey has Dance of the Butterfly. This could wipe them off the board here. A little bit of damage from the AoE from that Magneto shot. Dance of the Butterfly into the backline. Invisible boundary is dropped. That will cancel it out. And immediately Polly drops low, chased down, picked off by Crazy Kitty, who's able to get the turnaround. Invisible boundary will fall though, which means Ken now is the only ultimate currently available, but with several charging up very quickly. Immediately Ken's going to come in with that invisible boundary, psionic seduction for Enzo. Get Zenny, and we're seeing the members of BloodKariudo starting to get zoned off the point one by one. Diamond form as Gator is buying every second they can, but overtime ticks down. Portal with the last split second, but pushing Monkey off the point. They will hold 1 point, 119 meters, 10 centimeters.
Time to switch things up, including which side you're
A
on.
little over 3/5 of the way through the map. BloodKariudo, they made it over halfway. Can brbrpatapim create an equally as aggressive push in order to outperform and make their way on to qualify for Ignite? If brbrpatapim can beat that distance, they are going to be qualifying for Ignite. Also, if you're watching this video the day it comes out, there is a solid chance that I am streaming as this video goes live. So once you're done, come check out me recording a couple more games. I'll be recording like any other replays I've been sent in. And of course, then moving over to record some of the Qualifier #2 games. Because we hit that 5,000 sub goal. Thank you so much, everyone who has been so supportive. I've been so focused on this game that I completely forgot that happened. Big shout out as well to everyone. Like I said, we're at 5,018. We will be starting to stream in the near future. And shout out to our members for helping support the channel. Lucas Tyson, Luminosity Gaming's Arso, Doki Pokey, and of course, John. Tanuki making their way out. That's a squirrel goal. That's a storm. It's a quadruple. No Vanguards. Quadruple strategist, quadruple duelist. Double strategist, no Vanguard. brbrpatapim with a very unique draft here. They're just going to try overwhelming force to try and burst their way through here. Immediately, unbeatable Skrull Tsunami. Does a lot of damage, but it's taken out quickly. Leo with the targeting here. Ken goes down. The lack of front line is starting to show. Enzo was also taken down, brought back at the BRB, trying to keep the team topped up, and they're going to retreat, and they've realized this is not working. Mixing it up, there's the EMEA, there's the Magneto, and they broke a siege, but they did not get far. That was a minute and a bit burned there by brbrpatapim. BloodKariudo, great crisis management, not panicking. They were able to play a little bit safer, absorb the damage, and they were able to pick up the eliminations when they needed them. Crazy Kitty, Supernova charged a little bit earlier here as they've been playing a little bit safer, able to just siege more damage. Doing some good work, but there's not a lot of setup here this time. They're just able to get some damage, get a trade, but not able to pick up the elimination they're looking for. Snowflake, sorry. Keeping them topped up. Here comes the Psionic Seduction. The combo with the Dance and the Butterfly. Team groups up and no one goes down with the help of that Fate of Both Worlds. Sorry, Invisible Boundary. Now it's the Fate of Both Worlds from Cath as they go try and go in for that counter push. Supernova being blocked out by Tanuki, but that's going to expire very shortly. Leo with the Dance and Butterfly to the backline, but Invisible Boundary will shut that down. Meteor M finds nothing. And despite all of this, despite all the strategist ults expiring midway through that fight, BloodKariudo are still holding. No one's gone down yet, but I might have spoken too soon as Cath drops low. It's Zenny who is falling, though. Monkey being focused along with Gala, but they are still holding the line. Cath is trying to keep that team topped up with everything in their power. Activates the shift for that quick burst and piercing healing, and they force them back. brbrpatapim is sent back to spawn again. This is an unreal hold so far by BloodKariudo. Nice lockdown, nicely done, but it's not enough. Monkey with that Iron Bulwark able to back away. Prevent themselves from being picked off with that Diamond Form kick. Second spear, cheeky bit of burst, drop them so low, but they heal back up again. They're so tanky here. The damage block is insane. Supernova trying to just drop as much damage as they can. Prevent this push. Flaming Media for that extra overhealth to get out of danger. In the meantime, though, Tanuki is directly above, sending in shots. Has a Supernova of their own. Gonna drop it. Looking for the burst to try to get down an Invisible Boundary, making it much harder to push in. Here comes the counter from the side of Ken to keep them topped up. Dancing the Butterflies to the backline. They tag through, but not this time. Pokey gets Monkey. Zenny's taken out by Polly, and Enzo gets Leo. This is going to be the team wipe that brbrpatapim have been looking for a while. But that was a long hold with 22 seconds left. No portal? They've decided to go portalless. Making their way in on foot. Save the portal for a last second push. Everyone will make it. Everyone will be grouped up. If they can hold them here, that is enough, as overtime is on. One team wipe or one good push from Magneto or the Human Torch could be enough to shut this down as Leones gets into the backline with that Dance of the Butterfly. Great group up to prevent anyone from being taken out. Here comes the Silent Seduction. Polly with Meteor M. That's going to be Leo taken out. Ken, Alex is down. Cath is taken out with the Meteor M, but Tanuki will also fall. It's currently 3 for 3 as both teams are trading shots. Polly is dropped low. Down goes Pokey, leaving just Polly all alone versus 2. Portal coming in for Zenny for reinforcements. Here comes Alex, who needs one for their team, but no overtime ticks down. That is going to be it, as we will be heading to a map number 3 as BloodKariudo bring it back in the second round. Crazy Kitty taking MVP this time. What a matchup so far, with a spot in Ignite on the line. Top eliminations. It's going to be Leo with 26 eliminations. Top final hits, though, will be Tanuki, who tried to swap Spider-Man in the last moment to make their way in. I love it when a player tries literally anything to try and make sure their team has a chance. Didn't work out in this time, though, but they still got the most final hits in the game. Least amount of times getting eliminated will be Cath, only going down 4 times. Then there are several players, Tanuki, Monkey, Crazy Kitty, and Gainer, all who only went down 5 times. Most damage done. It's close to Nuki and Crazy Kitty, but it's going to be Crazy Kitty this time by 1,000 with 36,000 over to Nuki's 35,000. Of course, the Human Torch damage output right now is a little absurd. Top damage blocked. Monkey absorbing with everything in their power, trying to hold that line on that Magneto. We saw so many times where it looked like Monkey was done for, and that's why I'm expecting we're going to see these strategist numbers be absolutely mental here. 52k, you could also see that Gala was tanking 42k as well, doing a great job. Swapped to Strategist when Zenny moved over to the Doctor Strange so they could make their way in for that last push. Very quick adjustment. Love to see it. 44,000 damage blocked as well by Enzo, doing a solid amount of absorbing and top healing. 44k for Alex, insane job. 45k for Zenny, insane job. But it's Kath. Kath, with that Lunar Snow, is the reason that Monkey only has been taken out 5 times, and it wasn't like 8. It was so close. The targeting, the quick bursts, just knowing when to keep that Magneto up and being able to play together to the point they made use of every part of the Magneto health there. Dropping them down to double digits, sometimes even single, multiple times that game. And with that, we are in to game number 3 as I grab that replay. What a series this is turning out to be. Again, Leo, thank you so much for sending this in. Let's get that loaded up. Looks like our last map is going to be Central Park for our final match in this best of 3. The winner qualifies for Marvel Rivals Ignite for EMEA. The loser will be forced to try again, well, at the time we're recording this, today. Central Park is the map. Defense first round for BloodKariudo. brbrpatapim starting off on attack. Groot, the first ban. Do we still see this Cap ban? Yes, we do. More scared of Captain America than of the Human Torch. BloodKariudo, last time, they protected the Winter Soldier and did not play it much. They'll do the same this time. Clearly a favorite of Leo, it seems. brbrpatapim. Every round so far, they've protected the torch, but we've just seen that Crazy Kitty can play well enough to utilize it. We're going to see it once again. Counter ban. Psylocke, I'd say, is probably going to be a sensible ban. There it is. Leo putting on an absolute clinic that round, causing so many issues. Now, BloodKariudo. They've banned the Jeff a couple times, but they're going to save that for later. They take away the Loki, removing that backline burst protection, and they will protect their Emma Frost. Gala's been doing really well on this, getting some good catches onto aggressive members of BloodKariudo. Gotta be careful though, Enzo's been doing very well as well. Last protection of the series. This is the best of 3. It's going to be Luna once again. Both these teams have been playing her beautifully here. It's a sensible save. Now, what are the bans? Is there anything else that BloodKariudo showed that you might be scared of? They're just going to take away the Wolverine. They don't want to get picked off. They don't want to get zoned out here. And once again, Jeff is taken away. Very similar to last time. Very similar to game number 1 as well, in fact. Hulk actually made it through the ban phase. That is a difference. It's been bad both rounds so far. We're starting off, though, with Magneto, Emma. No sneaky Namors or Iron Mans coming in from BloodKariudo or from brbrpatapim. This match is on. The tension is high. These qualifier spots. There's a lot of money on the line here. Just get into this spot. is a pretty solid chance of getting some income. Getting to these spots is the chance from getting to those mid-season finals. Getting these spots puts you in the running for those grand finals. With $3 million on the line between the regions, with $1 million in just the grand finals alone. This match has so much meaning behind it. And these teams, their first test of hyper pressure begins now. Who will buckle? Who will thrive? And who will come out on top? Leo looking for a bionic hook. Finds it! Pokey is wiped off the board there. Kath goes down in exchange though. Is that a 1-for-1? Polly creeping forward with Enzo, trying to make some space. They find Zenny, and with Strange diving so deep here, that is aggressive, running them down here. It is going to be a full team wipe. Portal coming in from Enzo. Looking to potentially trap them out of spawn. Lets it go though. Point number 1 will be taken. That might have been a counter portal. If they'd seen BloodKariudo going in for a portal re-engage to try and prevent this, they may have used their own portal to block it here. That is some really heads-up play, but as such, didn't land it. They have portal now on the full cooldown. Ken healing away. Pokey ready with that Kraken impact. Supernova for Crazy Kitty being met by that invisible boundary of Ken for the turnaround potential. Not getting a lot of vision thanks to that invisible boundary, but they've been able to drive back for. Has been forced off the point, at least for the moment. Here comes the counter Supernova. Tanuki to try and break the defensive line. Kath is going to shoot out with that Fade of both worlds to try and keep the team topped up. Tanuki forced out to the low ground, though, to get picked off, as Leo will get picked off on the side here. I have Agamotto, and that is going to be another potentially full team wipe. Crazy Kitty going to be zoned away. Pokey is looking for resets on a Kraken impact. Won't find any, but that card is still moving. This is fast. This is efficient. This is dangerous. And BloodKariudo are not adjusting. They're trying the same composition. They believe in it. But right now, brbrpatapim are the ones creating the angle here. Here comes that silent seduction from Polly and Gator. Meteor M from Monkey tries to find one, finds Pokey. Will fade of both worlds from Alex to keep the team in this fight. Enzo gets stunned out from that bionic hook. Kraken impact from Leo, but their drops too low. Healing does not find them, meaning no resets, even though Polly will fall. Zenny has that invisible boundary, can try and keep the team topped up on this defense, but it looks like they may have been able to rout the members of brbrpatapim, forcing them off the point. Lot of focus onto Enzo, trying to finish them off. The healing output's coming in. Invisible boundary gonna be dropped on this attacking push, but Enzo is already out. Beautiful bionic hook. Ken is in full retreat, but gets taken out before they reach the boundary. Leo getting some revenge there for that last engage. And once again, and finally, brbrpatapim's push has been put to a complete halt here, forced to regroup after what has been a heavy momentum-based round for them right now, as they've been pushing in relentlessly. Enzo getting topped up, looking for the angle to try and push in. Polly returning just behind them here. Supernova for Crazy Kitty, committing early, directly to the backline, flaming media to try and get the team topped up, but gets caught mid-air by the Diamond Form, and down they go, leaving it completely open for Pokey and Tanuki to try and hollow out the remaining defenders as the Fate of both worlds will be coming out. That Supernova damage output is pretty reasonable, but all it's really doing is cutting off the retreat here. Zenny forced to dive forward into the Fate of both worlds here. They're outnumbered, but they're holding. Portal comes out from Enzo. Looking for their opportunity to maybe step forward. They have Agamotto. They were looking for a potential hard dive engage, but they're going to skip it. Realizing this portal might be a little too dangerous. BloodKariudo have made their way back to the point here. Enzo still has this Eye of Agamotto though, dropped low. Team top tower, Bionic Hook onto Tanuki, wiping them again. Leo going fishing today. Enzo going to be forced back off the point. Monkey with that Media M at the ready, holding it for the moment, waiting for that next supernova from Tanuki. Keeping the line held. Pokey with Media M off the, not Media M, Kraken Impact off their own. Leo with the other side. This is a big wraparound now, all the way behind from the side of brbrpatapim. They now have the high ground. This is a really dangerous position here for BloodKariudo. But they're taking cover, they're making position. Bionic Hook not landing. Here comes the side introduction from Polly to cut off the defender's defensive position. That's going to be an Eye of Agamotto, but Invisible Boundary will try and buy some time. But Leo is taken down as Kraken Impact is looking for resets. Will not find them though. That Invisible Boundary is too good. Gala goes down, but not in time for the reset, but it might not matter. With Supernova doing huge damage. Crazy Kitty matching in Kai to try and burst on through, but with that Fate of Both Worlds, they may not be able to find the damage output to find any finishes here. Forced to Flaming Media to get out of danger. Focus down, 1 HP! And they take out Pokey, drops low, 9 HP. They're not getting healed, but the focus is good. Crazy Kitty getting out of there as Leo makes their way in for the damage absorption. Kraken Impact, but no, once again, the healing isn't there. Leo diving far forward, but the only person there, meaning that they were the focus of the damage. Enzo arriving with a frenzied arrival with the Venom for that little bit of extra delay, that little bit of extra push, so they have that body with symbiotic resilience to touch the point and hold overtime here. Gator portaled in to make sure that their team has some level of reinforcement as they try to duel, try to get rid of this Venom. They're about to have Eye of Agamotto though, they've built that up here. But they need to make sure they stay up. Healing output is coming in. The retreat. Overtime. Eye of Agamotto to focus Pokey. Taking them down. Enzo falls. This could be huge. As we see a huge dive from Polly. The main body on the board to try and hold this with the Invisible Boundary. Giving them that a little bit of extra sustain as Leo will be taken out. Overtime. Ticking down. Polly has to stay on this point right now. Giving everything they can to the cause. Enzo back on Venom. Is swinging back in. Psionic Seduction for that unstoppable. For that little bit of extra lockdown to try and trap someone. They pull in so many. Invisible Boundary though from BloodKariudo. Meteor M to try and burst it. Mind Aegis will block them out here. Hold the line, Feast from the Abyss at the ready as Venom is deep in the background, not finding any targets with Feast from the Abyss. Gets Bionic Hook, pulled in, Pokey, resets, looking for anything else. If they find one more, they found it! And deep in the back line! If they can get Leo here, counter Kraken Impact for Leo, trying to find someone else for their own reset, not finding it, being dropped low. Down they go, and brbrpatapim were too far off the point. That is a hold at 1.110 meters and 40 centimeters. It comes down to this. Can BloodKariudo push further than essentially point 2? If they hit point 2, that is it. And BloodKariudo will be the team qualifying for Ignite, and brbrpatapim will be forced to try again. The pressure is electric. Electric! As BloodKariudo looking for the thematic win on the Central Park map. Winning on a Dracula map with the name BloodKariudo. brbrpatapim, unfortunately, there are no brain rot maps. Although there is an AI map coming, so that actually works. A little bit of Ultron.
Get ready.
Ultron coming soon. I'm excited. Hope you are as well. A lot of people have already decided where he is either super broken or super underpowered. People have decided that before he's even out, so Reddit being fantastic as always. Pokey has decided to bring it out again, picking up the Hella. This is what definitely carried them to victory in game number 1. Just finding targets with such deadly precision in that first game of the series, and they're going to try and put their faith in it once more. Sending in the shots. The Strangers have been abandoned for both teams. Pokey with the Goddess's Descent. trying to find the angles, trying to find those early pickups. brbrpatapim, they need to put on an insane defense here. Players on this team have come second in the Marvel Rivals Invitational. Players have done well, coming in the top 4, top 3 potentially in Marvel Rivals Season 1. Comes down to this. Trying to keep the team topped up, and a lot of space is being picked up by BloodKariudo right now, making their way onto the point. Crazy Kitty and Zenny taking out Pokey and Polly. The bodies are starting to be zoned away here. Enzo is trying to make their way back in, gets snowballed, bodied, locked down with the diamond form, and here comes that counter fate of both worlds. This does give them an opening. Portal to reinforce as brbrpatapim are committing everything to this defense. Psionic Seduction pulls in Zenny. It's a 1-for-1 being traded out here as Crazy Kitty sieges in, but it's not a 1-for-1 in the fight as Kitty is forced to retreat because Curiano got wiped off the board here. Nice hit with that tainted shock. Back it up. Polly back on the Strange, portaling in for their team. They know every inch counts here, so holding on point 1 is just as important. This is something that BloodKariudo did not do. They held it for later, choosing to fight on point number 2 instead. Sonic Seduction for Gator to try and trap the reinforcements in that doorway, but they're able to take cover. Gator is dropped low. Aya Magamoto comes out. Leo is dropped out. Zenny is being focused here with that supernova as Tanuki is trying to wipe out those strategists on the backline. Fate of both worlds. Zenny forced to leap forward, will barely get out of there. The Goddess of Death, Pokey, sent back down to Earth Soul Cypher to buy themselves a little bit of extra time as they take out Zenny, but Ken will fall in exchange. Cap's Fate of both worlds will expire as they're being dropped, forced onto the retreating point, trying to take out Tanuki, who's forced to Flaming Media to get out of danger, but Crazy Kitty was a bit too deep, taken down. Gator portals in for their team. It's reinforcements, a taste of their own medicine. As the team is starting to respawn, they make their way in for that point, looking to try and get onto Tanuki to take down the maximum damage output, but that's going to be a beautiful knockdown with the diamond form. Fate of both worlds coming in to find an extra time invisible boundary for Zenny to keep the push going, to see if BloodKariudo can push on in, but that's a Psionic Seduction locking them down. The healing output is good, but is it good enough? That's a brilliant supernova directly into the doorway, but the healing output is good with the invisible boundary from Ken, trying to keep the team topped up, and it's working. They're pushing them back with 45 seconds to go. brbrpatapim are making their way in and are looking to try and secure victory. With 35 seconds left, no more strange portals for the side of BloodKariudo. brbrpatapim, they might have one if they can hold overtime and Polly goes down first. They also have Aya Magamoto. Kraken impact for Leolace. Supernova for Tanuki. No strategist ultimates at all for brbrpatapim. Calf with the Fate of both worlds. Aya Magamoto shut down. Polly is absolutely countered here as in comes Tanuki onto the backline. Monkey, Kraken impact. Leolace is smashing everyone. That's the full team wipe. Point number 1 is going to be taken by BloodKariudo, and now it's about distance. 110 meters and 40 centimeters. 2 minutes and 18 seconds to go. It's a full reset by brbrpatapim as they regroup, they gather their tools, they gather their heroes and villains, and they make their way to the point to try and hold, to secure their place and ignite as BloodKariudo look for a bite. Gator. Psionic Seduction, hyper aggressive, grabs 1, 2, 3, Fate of both worlds though, keeping the team topped up, and that's a big button to burn. Invisible boundary is going to be taken out here. Zenny keeping the team topped up, Crazy falls, Cat falls, the strategist ultimates are all staggered as we're going to see BloodKariudo getting taken down. They get Pokey, but that is a dominant fight win for brbrpatapim as they were able to group together. And while they didn't lose Pokey, they didn't lose a lot of their ultimates. They were able to turn that round and take it by only using that Fate of both worlds. Now, can they keep holding this? Leo has brought out the Hella of their own here. Taking a little bit of damage. You can see that human torch up in the top right of your screens, harassing away. Crazy Kitty has Supernova. Tries to look for the dueling. For that little bit of burst. Monkey dropping low. Here they come. Supernova being committed. Flaming Meteor for that little bit of extra overhealth. Meteor Rev is big. Enzo got Monkey though, who was dropped very low earlier on in the fight. Fantastic Force on cooldown, meaning Crazy Kitty is kind of stuck on whatever hit points they are on. Getting focused down and taken out. It is a full team wipe. 36 seconds left for BloodKariudo. Their potential last chance. They are at 72.35 meters. They are 40 meters away from their spot in Ignite. Psionic Seduction coming out, trying to get onto a Crazy Kitty who is focused down. Goddess of Death from Pokey to try and burst on through, but will get taken out here. Cap with the Fate of Both Worlds, buying extra time. Leo makes to the sky themselves. Here they come. Goddess of Death, Fate of Both Worlds to try and buy an extra time in the media. The focus damage is good. Invisible Boundary comes out from Zenny to try and match him. Trying to get onto Tanuki as Ken and Pokey have both fallen. Monkey is getting some revenge for being the punching bag this game. They're breaking the line. The card keeps moving. Pokey is going to be the one to swap onto the Doctor Strange, realizing that that card is so close to the point. They must go now. They can't wait. They can't hesitate. It's Portal or nothing. They're waiting. Apparently it was Portal, wait or nothing. Here we go! Directly onto the point! Magneto is trying to body block to hold the line, but Monkey gets deleted here! Eviscerated off the point. Gator falls, Monkey falls, Leo falls, with overtime ticking down. This might be a massacre! It's right at the end, and dreams shattered! BloodKariudo with meters to go, 4 meters away from victory, but brbrpatapim will dive onto the point, will break the attempted body block with ease, and brbrpatapim will be making their way in and qualifying for Marvel Rivals Ignite Stage 1. Huge congratulations to them. 2-1. Earning their place amongst the immortals. brbrpatapim have qualified, but now you've got to wonder, with qualifier number 2 around the corner, is it going to be in the back of their heads to fear the name BloodKariudo? We'll have to see when we head around to those qualifier number 2 games later. But what a performance by brbrpatapim. Game number 1 was incredibly dominant. They had full control. Game number 2 was so close. Game number 3 was close. So close. But the coordination of the final push from brbrpatapim, exactly when they needed it, shows a control and a patience, even when with their backs up against the wall, in the highest tension of moments, that is going to take them far. You cannot overstate how important that ability to perform under pressure is, especially with the mid-season and those grand finals likely being offline events, and especially if they have an audience. Let's look at the statistics. Tanuki, 46 eliminations, with 18 of them being final hits, topping both of those statistics. People who went down the least, it's going to be 5 for Ken, being beaten out by 4 times, getting taken out for Alex. Both of them staying up almost double the Vanguards in this case. Just tanking through as best they can, playing safe, nicely done. Top damage, of course, is going to be the Torches. 41k for Crazy Kitty, 50k for Tanuki. Top damage blocked, the Vanguards. Normally, 53 and 56k would be enough to say job done and get on with it. But Enzo, with 62,000 damage blocked, showed up in style and was able to hold and break the line. Getting 12 final hits themselves, 24k damage. They put on an incredible performance. And top healing, only going down the least amount of times, means they stayed up more for healing and were able to, with 5k to spare, beat out Kath. It's Alex. 1,000 healing. They healed an entire Enzo, an entire Emma Frost worth of damage taken, and an entire Tanuki plus themselves worth of damage done. An incredible performance. But with that, that is the end of today's games. I need to go find some NA replays, because that's actually the thing I have the least of. I have a couple Oceania. I have quite a few of the Asia region replays, which is very nice for the people for sending those in. But I need to get myself some of the replays from the Americas region, because that will be the video that is coming out tomorrow. So, fingers crossed for that. Ladies and gentlemen, oh, reminder, if you want to become a member and support the channel for starters, like, comment, subscribe on the video to help support the channel. My white balance is on auto. I need to turn that off. That's why. Look at that. Every time I show my arms, it assumes there's more white in the room because I'm so pale and makes my camera change colour. That's silly. Like, comment, subscribe on the video to help this channel grow. Check out the live stream because I may be doing that. But if you want to support directly, you can either hit that thanks button and send a one-time donation, which is extra appreciated, or you can hit that join button to become a member. If you are a member, you get your name shouted out like the people from earlier, and also you are helping me directly, and a little bit extra, you get the videos a day or more early, with the exception of the news, because I record and edit that on the same day, so that everything is as up-to-date as it can be. And also, if I go out of town, for example, I will be out of town on the 30th. This video should be the 29th, so tomorrow. I will be out of town on the 30th, meaning that if you become a member today, you will have multiple videos going up early, because I won't be here, so you will get a little bit of a sneak preview. So, make sure you hit that join button if you like the idea of that and also want to support a caster you like. I hope you like me. I like you because you watched all the way through the video and are now listening to me Sean Connery, and are now listening to me talking about the fact that I appreciate support. So thank you all very much for joining. I have been Tetcher. I'm going to go change shirt and find another replay to cast so I can get ahead for my time out of town. And I will see you. Oh, and continue to wish me luck to see if I hopefully get a response from the Marvel Rivals team, because I put in my application and had my interview for the caster program. Fingers crossed. Keep up the support. Let them know on Twitter or whatever other socials they're using that you would like me to cast. That might work. I don't know. Don't brigade them. Don't spam. But if you want to send a message, it would be appreciated. For now, though, thank you very much for watching. I have been Tetcher, and I will see you all tomorrow.